Survivor Rights Community. Another week has passed, and my special guest today is Mike Groseth. I can hardly wait for this conversation of Tradition Isn't Truth. We have had some great conversations on the phone, and we just had another one. So I am so looking forward to everything that you have to say. You're out of Cincinnati, Ohio right now,
Hmm.
and family business. I'm going to let you just kind of go with that, but I really just want to say welcome to Survivor Rights to everyone. And really, we are not here to attack people who still believe. It's just examining systems, dynamics, lived experience, and having a conversation around how we move forward with all of that. So today, our guest, Mike Groseth, the floor is yours, my friend.
Thanks. So great to be here, and looking forward to this.
Yes.
I think it'll be a really good conversation, and I appreciate that. Um, I guess I thought about just kind of starting real quick with a brief introduction of who I am. Some people know me, some people don't.
Yes.
But I think it matters kind of for this conversation because the traditions and things have come along with us through our life, and we all deal with them. So, but something a friend used, that was a year or so ago. It was a word picture he used that really helped me to understand the process of deconstruction in a way. And I kind of hate using that word a little bit because it means different things to different people.
Right.
But people that are working through being in the church or a church
Right.
of any sort and leaving a church, but still loving God. This person told me, he said, I still felt like they needed to sit down and pull everything off the bookshelf. So the bookshelf was full and had all these things that were built up over the years. And he pulled them off everything came off the bookshelf, everything. And nothing was left untouched. And that includes God. And that's scary. And then he examined everything individually, is the way he explained it. And quickly, God went back on the shelf. And faith was part of what he realized for him that he needed. Not everybody gets to that point, and that's okay. We got to work through that. So I did I would say I did a similar thing where about 9 months ago, had meeting in my home and I stopped everything, stopped meeting, stopped going. And it was hard. It's really hard to break the things that we've done forever, the things that 3, 4 generations, 5 generations, some people, and over years, those things might be tradition of sorts. That, I mean, a lot of them are traditions that we do because it's what we've always done. It's because what our parents did. Anyway, so I've kind of gone in and out of church in general. Church spaces, maybe, I guess is the way to say it. And I realized quickly that I personally needed something like a community. So anyway, so the conversation that we're having isn't really about telling anyone what to keep or what to discard, what to get rid of. Everybody has to figure that out for themselves. So I tackling traditions. It was something that came to my attention about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, right about Dean Brewer time. And I just realized that there's so many things I do even in our Sunday morning meeting or preparing for it or all the things that lead up to it or even my daily reading and praying, if I did it,
Right.
can became tradition. So like something that stuck with me this is traditions can be helpful and healthy, but they become a problem when they start acting like law. And that often happens because we're more comfortable with clear rules than with discernment.
Yep. They're
So
very protective and grounding. I think they stabilize a lot of us. And that is why, while there's an initial, like, oh, yay, I'm free, and it's so great for a while, and then you're like, but I really don't know what to do now.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Be,
so,
because okay, it's like Christmas, right? Like I should use a different Halloween, right? That's something that most of us could kind of maybe enter into.
right.
It I'm not a person that I think Halloween has a bad connotation. Whatever. Everybody has an opinion on it and stuff.
Right.
But we did things not really knowing any background on Halloween. Didn't matter. It was fun evening, fun night. Kids got to go out, families together, friends come over. So that's a tradition. Ham on Easter. We didn't really go all out on Easter eggs and all that good stuff as in the church.
Yeah.
But we did at times we did like a ham dinner and the Easter meal.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tradition. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
So, but if we got to a point where we said, well, okay, we're going to have ham and on Easter, and that's what is the signification of Jesus.
Right.
Well, that's another step, right? Like that's where if we're saying our salvation is having ham on Easter,
Right.
it's kind of a silly, thing, but it's like that's kind of what some of this stuff can become.
Yes.
So every religious system has traditions,
Yep.
Christianity included, and probably Christianity predominantly,
Yes.
heavily has traditions, and it's that the human side of us all. We seek rules and seek limits and seek boundaries, and those traditions then quickly can morph into becoming more than just a thing we do together.
Yes.
or whatever.
Yes.
Good.
We talk a lot in Worthy and also here about all of the unwritten rules and how many of them really were just tradition.
Yeah.
And yet, as unwritten as they are, boy, did they feel stiff,
Yeah.
And there's so many of them. We can get to what they are later. But anyway, I don't want to derail you, so you keep going.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah. So like, but like looking at tradition. So when I was digging into it a couple years ago, and then leading up to this, thinking about that tonight, like traditions aren't really bad or dishonest in itself.
Nope.
Like there's really nothing bad. It's all the things that are connected and the baggage, if you will, that comes along with it. And the issue is when when repetition begins to function as truth.
Yes.
So it can be similar. I mean, as an example, and I'm going to not give examples to every single thing that I throw out there, but like for me, the example is if you miss a meeting and you don't show up for meeting on a Sunday morning, and as an elder, I would call people and ask because I loved them, but I realized after the fact, like, why was I calling them? Was I calling them? I think I was calling them out of love and care for them because, hey, just want to make sure you're all right.
Yeah.
But it can that repetition, that expectation of being at Sunday morning, at Wednesday night, and if you miss, that's bad. Like that's it's not really said, but that's the connotation.
Yes.
And that begins to become the mile markers of success. To
Sure
that.
does.
So, and there's so many things like that. I mean, our the appearance, and I mean, all we could make a really long list on things
We could.
that fall into that issue. But so repetition becoming the function of truth is kind of the thing that kind of kept coming to me, kept hitting me every time I'd look at someone. I'm like, oh, it's repetition. It became normal. If you hit your hand every time you went to drive a nail with a hammer, and every time you did it, you would expect it to happen. At some point, it would stop being like a shock. Oh,
Right.
no, I'm going to put a nail in, so I'm going to hit my hand.
Right.
So anyway, I don't know. There's so many things that defining the problem, right? Like so I went through let's look at what traditions are, how they started, and then define the problem is like they became authority. The repetition of the traditions of doing it over and over again became authority. It became the law, the rule. And that can be, like patterns of meeting. That could be roles in the church, ministry over men over the women in the ministry, and then the elders over, like just that whole hierarchy. Some people getting more visits than others. like there's all these things that, you just traditionally the elders get more visits, right? That's just kind of the way it generally works.
Yep. And we all accepted that. That's one of the things that blows my mind looking back now, is how much dysfunction we just accepted as, well, that's the way it is. And it was just because that's the way it was, not because it was right or
Right.
because it was real or had any specific meaning. It was just the way it was. And we just took it like,
You walked right into number 3.
okay, well, we're on
Practice-
the same page then.
Practice and repetition becomes normal.
Yes.
It becomes the expected. The expected becomes unquestionable. We don't question what we do.
Nope.
I don't, and I'm calling myself out here. My kids have asked me, why did we do that? And I'm like, well, it's because that's what we've always done.
Yeah.
That's the example in flesh and blood of
Right.
what that is, right? Like,
Exactly.
that, again, to me, that doesn't mean it's all bad. It
Right.
doesn't have to be bad to be a tradition.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be something we abolish as a tradition.
Totally agree. I think one of the big reasons when I think about all of the traditions is it did keep unity intact. Like,
Yeah.
the one thing that so many of us miss so much is community. And that was the unity of us. And because we all understood the rules, unwritten rules, that is what the glue was
Yes.
for all of us in the world. And that made it clarifying. That made it real and meaningful. And somehow that definitely got lost with doctrine. So anyway,
Yeah.
keep
Well,
going.
and-
I could interrupt
and
you all day.
No, you keep going. It's fine.
No, you're good.
And it becomes sacred.
Yes.
It becomes a thing that we don't even know. Sometimes we don't know why we do what we do or why we've done what we've done, but we do it because it's what we've done. That's the way.
Yes.
And the probably everybody knows this story, but the lady that cut both ends off the roast or the ham or whatever it was, and somebody started asking why they did that, and well, she didn't know. She asked her because it's how her mom did it, so she asked her mom, and she just did it that way because that's how her mom did it. So they asked the grandma, and she goes, "Well, it's because my pan was too small." And so like it became the way to cook a ham. Where like it easily loses the she had a big enough pan, she could just put it in there and cook it as it is. But anyway, so I think that's the time honored tradition that we pass down. Now, I mean, I don't think it's all bad. I can't say it enough. I don't know how to talk about this without continually going, there are things that I've gotten from my parents
Yes.
that I adore, I love. And
Yes.
there are things that I got from some growing up in a house going to meeting that have been good for me.
Yeah.
Uh,
I agree.
That doesn't, I guess I don't know how to, I'm still trying to figure out how to work through that.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a different conversation probably for a different day. So tradition doesn't have to be called a rule to become a rule. And I think that's kind of the part of it, part of the thing that for me, it's if there's a repetitiveness to something, it becomes more than a tradition. I mean, if it only has a use to lead people in a certain direction, or to funnel people in a certain direction, or to funnel people to be more
Obedient.
malleable, obedient, malleable, that quickly goes from a tradition to something different.
Yeah.
So why does this matter spiritually? that was my big question.
Yep.
And again, at the beginning, I said something about discernment or discretion, and it replaces it. When it not necessarily tradition as a whole, but that repetitive and buying into the not knowing why we're doing it, but doing it. It replaces discernment, which anyway, there's instruction on discernment.
We can go on and on about that because the Bible is very, very clear about discernment, and we were given free will. Like
Right.
discernment, yeah. And one of the traditions, I think, is that discernment was always viewed as negative. If you're questioning anything, then that is a problem, and you are a troublemaker, or have a bad spirit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So, and then like from that though, if you, even the troublemaker, like just speaking up is against tradition,
right.
Asking a question
Yes.
is against tradition. And again, that's very heavily in the 2x2 church,
Yes.
but that's even, I mean, in life in general, like
Yeah.
if you're in a corporation and you're a lower level employee and you start going in asking questions, why do we do this? Why do we do this?
Right.
Sometimes they just want you to put your head down and do your job.
Yeah.
And that is not really a great culture for the corporation, but it's real. It's a realistic thing. And so asking questions, I mean, I was instructed that I had a bad spirit. Yeah, I'm sure that's not a surprise. But I didn't really think I had a bad spirit. I just wanted to know why. I needed to understand why are we doing these things, because
Right.
I was kicking back against even, I mean, where's professing in the Bible?
Right.
What does that mean? Like, what are we professing to? I mean, like there are things that I label as tradition. I really don't know, but I kind of have been on this journey of trying to just nitpick in a way
Right.
every little thing, because I'm like, and I've been going to a church and I'm nitpicking them too. I'm equal opportunity nitpicking.
There you
Um,
go.
but I think that's how we learn what the real reasons are
Yes.
behind something.
Yes.
And the important part on the asking why about a tradition or about a rule or a thing that we do is that there's transparency behind it.
Right.
And if it's a harmless tradition, there's going to be transparency behind it. So if you ask the why,
Right.
it should be like, well, we do that because our founder did that in,
Right.
whatever, and this was the thing, or we think Jesus did that this way. And
Right.
cool.
Yep. That was what I was really looking forward to in this conversation too, because so many, like, I feel like even from the very beginning, I do think some of the overseers started listening in the very beginning. Like they heard and people felt heard. They had all those listening meetings, all of that. But then when they realized that people really were using discernment and they really were wanting answers to their questions, that's when we got back to, oh, but you don't understand the rules. We need to re-put these, like, oh, they're not written rules. Like it was just this duplicity that we also were very traditionally taught to have. And so, yeah, I think that led really to the downfall and the falling away that, ultimately
Yeah.
happened was they were unwilling to answer even the simplest. When you talk about transparency, there was none. There was no, it was keep doing it because we said so.
Absolutely.
That answer is not going to fly
Yeah.
with a normal, intelligent person that has discernment. It's just not.
Well, yes, I thoroughly agree, but I know a lot of smart people, and
That's true.
I don't think I'm that. I know you weren't calling me dumb,
No.
but but I don't think I was. I was okay to listen to whatever was said, and I followed along. I don't think I was kind of a rule breaker.
Right.
At least not publicly. I mean, what I did, otherwise, I mean, whatever. Like we're all teenagers once, but Yeah, I was a people pleaser, and I followed along in the system, and
Yes.
but it's again, tradition becomes more than tradition
Hmm.
when there's I don't know, when loyalty to the way starts to outweigh personal conscience. Like when loyalty to this system or the way, the
Either
it
be that
over
find it.
over over yeah, takes away any personal thought. Like it becomes groupthink, and
Yep.
I don't know. I've been again 9 months. I've been processing this. I don't have all. I'm not even going to pretend to have answers.
Right. But one thing I want to make a point about that, Mike, because when we first talked on the phone, you told me about changing the culture of your company. And obviously you're very involved, it's a family-run business, and you talked about how difficult it was to change the culture, but the level of commitment to changing that culture was there. Like, and even though it was hard, you stayed on it and you continued the process because it really needed to happen for a lot of reasons, not
Yeah.
just profitability, but just because you wanted to create a better situation for the people who work for you, and like all of it for all the right reasons. It was worth doing. They, on the other hand, were not willing to even try, not
Yeah.
even willing to try
Right.
to change
Right.
that culture. And that's why I really wanted to have this conversation with you specifically, is you know what it takes to change a culture. You truly do.
Well, I don't know if it's successful yet,
Well, but
but it's
you're
leading by
trying really
example.
hard and you're
It's
doing it. I mean, you're
trying to lead.
working on
Yeah,
it.
yeah. The goal is we lead by example, and
Yes.
that's what we've missed in the last couple years. I mean, that's been more obvious. It's been a problem for a while, but it's more obvious the last couple years, right? Like
Right.
where now we see an absolute different direction. Like I mean, and I don't. Yeah, it's yeah.
Go ahead. I'm derailing you again. I know you
No,
have
no,
some
you're fine.
points. I want to hear
No,
them.
no, I'm nearing the end of what I kind of had been processing through. But what the last thing I had really was, or two things: what this conversation is and what it isn't. It's not rejecting everything. I've said that multiple times. It's not attacking people or sincerity. Like it's okay to be devout and sincere and caring and deeply honoring our conviction. That there's nothing wrong with that. That's a
Right.
good thing. That's
Right.
that's a scriptural biblical thing. If you're in that boat, right? That's a scriptural good thing. But what it is about separating scripture from habit,
Right.
taking away the taking away the rules,
Doctrine from
the
tradition.
fear, the doctrine, and what is truth. And the play on the words here is tradition from truth. It applies, and it's just there's a bunch of different things that apply to that, but it's also about clarity, honesty, freedom,
Yes.
transparency, all these words which are extremely powerful words,
Yes.
and edifying words and building up words, right?
Yes.
They're not tearing down. None of those are tearing down
No.
words.
And they're powerful in action. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing that I've just never understood. If you are truly a believer and truly have the love of God in your heart, why would you not do everything, and I mean everything in your power in a leadership position, to listen and pivot?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
That's the part I think that has been so hard for me to let go of, even though I've been out since '93.
yeah.
The wound got reopened when it was like, even with some of my family, I wanted to have this conversation. Okay, yeah, it was fine to question it in the very beginning, but 6 months in, it was like, yeah, no, get back in your place, Crystal. Get back in your place. You know where,
So
silence is required here.
yeah. And one of my bullet points is learning to tell the difference is not rebellion, it's maturity and clarity.
Yes.
And what you just explained and what I've experienced too in different ways, but a similar thing where it's learning to tell the difference between rules and tradition, and between right and wrong, and between things that are scriptural and things that are not.
Right.
It's maturity. It takes a maturity, and I wasn't mature. I'm still not mature. My joke is around the office that I'm 12. That's where my sense of humor lies still. I never got past it. But like the maturity, spiritual maturity, the discretion, figuring out what's right and wrong, what really matters, what doesn't,
Right.
isn't something that is given by a voice. I mean, like another man. I have people I look up to that I want to hear their thoughts, and I want to hear their opinions and what they believe and where they've been and what their process is. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I have to figure out my relationship with God on my own, between me and him, and no man can help me make or break that.
Nope.
And it's not rebellion to try to figure that out.
Yes. I love what you said when we also talked in our conversation was how many Bible studies you're in. I mean, you are actively pursuing this, Mike. I mean, this isn't something that you're like, oh, someday I'll get around to figuring this out. You are literally, how many Bible studies are you in?
It's kind of embarrassing, to be honest. So 5 a week right now.
You're
But
actively pursuing God.
yeah, but that bookshelf is being restocked because I've had to figure out, because I took it all down. Like that's what these are. And
Right.
and I've told a couple of people this week, actually talking to them about this. And so the point of those 5 is I'm meeting, every group is a different group of people. Some of them are from the church. Some of them are groups of men from other churches. Some of them are men and women from, but there's no overlap between any group. So it's 30 to 60 people from all different walks of life.
That right there proves exactly the point you just made, which is you are wanting other people's opinion. I think that's where all of us, that's where they lost their credibility, is asking questions. And then, like, we are literally seeking answers. We are asking, and it was just shut down. There was no, like,
Yeah.
if this really is that way, you should be able to ask 50, 60 people, what is your experience? What is your background? What are your beliefs? How did you get to that point? What makes you believe that? And have some dialogue around it. Absolutely not going to happen in that group. And
Yeah.
that is very unfortunate.
Yeah, agreed. And the thing that's really hard about, hard, I don't know. It takes work. Like going, and I was so comfortable in the cadence of Sunday, like
Yeah.
Saturday night, set the room up, get ready, read,
Yep.
look for someone to speak on and work towards that. And I did. It wasn't that I wasn't making an effort.
Yep.
So like there was a diligence in that, but I mean, in the past 2 years, I've read the Bible
Yeah.
an extremely higher rate than I had before, and differently. It was not searching for someone to speak on, but
Right.
there was so much comfort for me in knowing Sunday morning, I got a meeting. That's fine. That's good. And then Wednesday, that'll come and we'll have a meeting. And then, so like right now, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are filled with Bible studies during mornings and some evenings.
That's
And, but like I realize like it's too much. Like right now, I seriously,
still
I
applaud
had to.
you. Sally Van Sickle is saying, I applaud you. And they all are hearing the puppies. Yes, you guys, I'm sorry about the puppies. I have 11-day-old puppies that are like 3 feet away from me. So I'm trying very hard to focus here, but
The puppies are doing
thankfully,
great.
she's a good mom. I did also want to say, yes, sweet puppy noodles. I'm telling you what, they are a lot. They make a lot of noise. Marcia Ransom made the point that they haven't seen any advantage in keeping or bringing back the questioners. Yes, they have now started drawing the line between those of us that they would like to have back who are not practicing discernment as much and would just like to, go back to the old way, because there is a hum. You just called it. I call it the hum of tradition. It's just living habitual. Rosie says that a lot. Living habitually, that's very much part of being in meeting. But they do not want back
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
all, and
Yeah.
are saying do not have any further contact with these people who are very vocally, and we all know who we are. So
Yeah. I,
onward we
I
go.
will, I will, yeah, and again, this goes to follow the leader type things where we, I wasn't, and again, this is not a crack on family or anything. It was just the way it was, that we weren't taught to think for ourselves
No,
on, when it came to religion, when it came to spirituality.
right.
There was not a direction really that I ever got to to search things out. Like search the Bible, sure,
Right.
that was said. But if I
But not
had
really.
questions, yeah, right. No,
That was a
yeah,
tradition. That was a rule. That was an unspoken rule. Read
yeah,
your Bible, but not really. Like read these parts,
yeah,
not the whole thing.
yep,
And only
yep.
this version, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, that has changed. That is, I believe that is changing a little bit.
Good.
But probably still, if I showed up reading the message version in a meeting or something, there could be a problem because it's quite
Yeah.
different. But I really enjoy it, by the way. It's amazing and so natural language. But yeah, there's no reason why we shouldn't be figuring out the different versions and the different things. I actually early last year I started to try to figure out if I could learn Greek because I wanted to learn like what the original text said. Yeah, that didn't work. I couldn't
I
do
was just gonna say, I can already tell. I don't know you that well, but you are an all or nothing guy. Like,
that. Yeah, but it was a nothing. It was nothing there. There was nothing there.
well,
Couldn't do it.
really do value and appreciate the fact that you're an all or nothing guy. But I mean, I'm an all or nothing person too, and that's why it's like that. Not that I'm not open to a suggestion or like if I ask a question, it's because I truly want the answer, you know. But like, if
Yeah.
you can't give it to me, I am not. You lose my respect instant. Like that's just a deal breaker for me.
But doing that, wanting to do that and wanting to learn Greek actually was fed by trying to figure out what does the Bible actually say, and learning the context of the language seemed like early on it seemed really, it still is, but I realized pretty quickly that I needed that. So I've found other resources that help me do that without having to learn Greek. So
There
that's
you
good.
go.
But
Yeah,
the
technology is
internet's
amazing.
amazing.
Daryl Johnson saying the last time he met with an Oregon overseer, he referenced the ESV version. So you're right; they are looking at other versions of the Bible now. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and Sarah's saying the unchanging marketing is another lie. Yeah, there's lots of those. Okay, go ahead. Back to your points.
So
Bible.
the kind of the last is really it's the question: what actually happens if somebody doesn't follow a tradition? Like, really, what happens?
Yeah.
And it's fear. There's warning. There's loss of trust or exclusion. Like those are the results of not following some of the traditions that that show maybe the heart of the matter really. And that was kind of it's kind of where I got to where, I mean, it's not a tradition. It's no longer a neutral tradition. Maybe that's the way we should talk about them is this a neutral tradition or is this not a neutral tradition? Because if it's not a neutral tradition, it's hard to say, by the way, that that is something different. It's lost the joy. The joy is gone when it's not a neutral tradition.
And there wasn't a lot of joy in the first place, to be honest with you, in life in general. That was one of my questions I wanted to ask you. What was your breaking point? What was?
Oh, well, so
You don't have to answer.
no, there were several things. The public one that I'll share
This is
was
very public, by the way, and it's going to be
no,
on
it's fine.
YouTube,
That's
so
that's okay. That's all right. No, some of it was a personal thing that I had to come to grips with. There's abuse in our family that's happened. So that was kind of the wake up moment. And I'll just there was an overseer from British Columbia who I don't know if we can name names or not, but
Is there a red box out on him?
there is.
Then say it, go away. Say it.
Merlin
Merlin
Affleck spoke at Carsonville Convention in 2023, and he spoke some things that were just blatantly not doctrine, not scriptural, not Jesus doctrine, is what I should have said. And I got to I left the meeting. I walked out of the meeting during his sermon, and I sat there on a bench and I wept for 3 hours. And it was a literal come to Jesus moment. I've not cried like that ever. And then just the repetition of going, okay, so, well, this guy's good. This guy's good. And then red box. And then, okay, well, but this guy's good. Red box.
Right.
That was like, so, and I'm sure quite a few people can probably relate to that story.
Yes. Sally Vensicle's letting you know that her and Clint left together.
I know, they were sitting behind me. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it was just a horrible. I mean, anyway, it was a culmination of a lot of things. But that was when I actually woke up to, oh, there is problems. There is problems that are deeper than just one or two people. It's still because the well, this could be this is an ugly tradition, I suppose, but the tradition of somebody's abused, well, that's a bad egg. Like there's a, like, that's a,
They did something to deserve it.
The excusing, or the person, but even the perpetrator was a bad egg. Like, well, you got this many people, you're going to have some bad people mixed in, right? Yeah. So, that's,
the way is perfect, but the people are not.
Right. So, and
on
I have
note,
yet to find any way that's perfect.
What's that?
I've yet to find any way except for Jesus' way that's perfect.
There you go. I just want to make a point about what you said about the crying. This is one of the things that I really want, a point that I would like to make. They do not understand yet how much we all care. They have completely underestimated our hearts, our level of commitment, our desire to have salvation, our faith, all of it. They do not understand the levels on which they have broken. And that's why I call the show Unbroken. But I want to acknowledge that if you didn't care, you wouldn't have cried. That level of emotion comes from true compassion, not only for yourself, but your meeting, your family, everybody. Like, whatever they need to have a wake-up call about what they are missing, I don't know. And I'm not going to try to judge it anymore. I don't. They have made their own choices. But,
unfortunately,
Melody's saying how devastated we are and how betrayed we've all been. It's that. It's devastation and betrayal. And it's a path of destruction behind them that they are literally blaming us for saying we have bad spirits. Like, we do not. We care so much.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah. If we didn't care, it'd be easy to walk away.
Yeah.
It'd be easy to go, well, I'm so really sorry for everybody. But so that's really what it would mean. And it doesn't, that doesn't mean that our desire is to tear everything down. No, but we did give them a lot of opportunities to make things right, and they chose not to. And I think that's what, and so now for them to take the position that we're bad, like, that's the part that I can't buy. That's the part that I'm like, yeah, okay, well, you do you, because I'm going to keep doing me. Like, did you see Dan's comment just now? They don't care that we care.
They don't. Oh, Dan Pierce,
their focus is on the sacrifice in their place. And it's proven over and over again.
Right.
And Dan's always right, by the way. If you ever get a chance to talk to Dan.
I don't know him, but I need to, obviously. We need to have him on here.
But
we can have it for 4 people at a time. What?
Yeah. No, but his point being is perfect in that, like, now we get now we get to another nut of it, really, that they want to the ministry, not, I don't want to talk in blankets, right? Because I'm sure there are still I'm trying to be politically correct here, but the I would say the leadership is focusing on just keeping the way going. So
Right.
a company,
Well, they have to.
yeah,
Not
it's
much left.
self-preservation to some degree,
Yeah.
right? So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot going on behind the scenes that we never understood.
Right.
That leads, and even inside the ministry, it leads to a lot of tradition for the youngers or the subservient ones to answer to the older ones. Like all that is Doug Stearns.
Tradition,
I
all of
love
it.
Doug. Yeah, traditions help to create unity. It was also for conformity. There's a big
Yes.
difference between unity and conformity.
Absolutely, Doug. Yes.
Just I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if we should just sit on here and read comments. These people are amazing.
I know they are. Well, my friend Lori, she's a Lutheran pastor. She's been on here speaking. She'll be on again. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And this is the one thing that I want to say. How many more do you want to keep going with
No,
your points?
I'm
Because I
good.
have one more
I'm
thing
good.
I want to say to you. Not just you, but to Dan, to anybody out there. I started going to Lori because it was hard to find people who were willing yet to speak up. In just the last 3 or 4 months, people have really, like, I don't know what happened, but suddenly people are starting to come forward and say, I'm willing to talk. Part of it is we're not really, like you said, I'm not here to tear anything down. What I am here is to shine the light. And guess what? When you shine light into a kitchen full of cockroaches, they run. So I don't know how to say that nicely, but that is basically where I'm at. I'm
Yeah.
just shining the light. And if you can't take the light and you can't take the questions and you're not willing to have a dialogue or come on here and have a conversation with me or anybody else about why you do the things that you do and why the way you do them, well, then I guess that's an invitation, by the way, if anybody's paying attention out there. But yeah.
Yeah.
Blows my mind. I have more questions for you, but I'm going to open it up to comments because literally I agree with you. And the puppies in the back. Yes.
Puppies are doing great.
Nothing to take away from you, Mike, but the puppies are pretty cute, as you
Oh,
know.
I can't compete with how many puppies?
11.
11. Yeah, I can't compete with that.
They kept
It's
coming.
good.
I was literally like, it's 3:30 in the morning. Are you kidding me? Okay, so whatever questions you guys have for Mike, otherwise I'm going to go down with, I have a few questions because I want to know, in your professional opinion, as a business owner type educated man, where in our psyche do you think that we're just, because we're born and raised, that the tradition overrides our own discernment? Like how, like you said earlier, there's a lot of smart people in the church. Where is it? What happens? When does that override happen? That's what I want. That's the essence of my question.
Ooh, I think, I think it happens two different ways. I think there's people that are born and raised, me, born and raised, and it's all I ever knew, and it's comfortable, and it's we think it's peaceful because that's the veneer that's put on, that's the look that is given,
Right.
and you hear of issues, but they're usually pretty isolated, and you don't see the warts really, and the stuff that's hidden doesn't ever come to surface because it's moved away or shuffled under the rug. So I think I think people in general want to see what they want to see, right? So,
But there's a cost to that, Mike.
oh,
There's a
we're
price.
paying it. Yeah, we're paying it right now.
Yes.
Absolutely. And it was 100 and something years it took to get to this point, which is amazing. So yeah, I agree. So, but then there's people that come in from that are brought in and profess or whatever you want to call it, and they come in, and I think there's multiples. I know people that have come in that have actually, they've come in from a bad spot, and
Right.
they've
They prey on
legitimately
people.
been helped. Yeah,
Yes.
and maybe they've been helped because maybe it took them out of addiction or took them out
Yes.
of a problem.
I
And I
agree.
know a man that is like that, and he absolutely will never understand the bad stuff
Hmm.
because he's looking at himself. His story says, "Look where I
Redemption
was and
all
look where
over
I'm
it.
at now." Yeah,
Yep.
so I get that. Like
I do
I
too.
do. And
And go ahead.
good.
I
Nope,
was just going
good.
to say, I one of the things that I really appreciate about you and why I wanted to have you on here so much is even in all of the comments on all the pages, in everything that I've ever seen, which is what made me reach out to you. Um, you are very loving, Mike. You are very loving, and I think I just try to encourage. It's hard for some people who are so angry to feel that love and to let that love, you know, come out toward people that yeah, it's so I just want to honor that. I want to thank you
Thank you.
for it, and I want to thank you. You talked earlier about leading by example, and you are leading by example because you are seeking God directly with no middleman. You are leading with love. You are not trying to tear anybody down. You're just trying to practice discernment and bringing in some dialogue around what's tradition and what's truth. Like,
Some people might not agree that I'm loving still, but because I've sent some spicy stuff, um, but the goal, like that's our instruction.
yes,
That's what we're told to do, and
yes,
I'm gonna fail on that. Trust me.
right.
I'm not gonna follow through on that because I'm man, but yeah, we have a call to show love. That's hard. Yeah, it's
Yes,
really
it
hard.
is. But I think that's partly why so many of us are drawn to community now. Like, we want this. We want the connection. We want to know that that our entire lives were not for naught.
Right,
There was
right.
some value to what we did have habitually for
Yeah.
many, many years of our lives. Like, there's some grief around that. A lot of grief.
Yeah.
Have you had a lot of grief?
Yeah, yeah, and I filled it with with Bible studies.
Well, Sarah's talking. You can see her comment that she's giving that you also give a lot of therapeutic hugs. So yes,
Yeah,
I you
Sarah.
just you exude love, and that was the message that I really wanted to have, and just to for people to feel that from you, and to know that I say it a lot for myself. I seek that godly love, like for my life to be a shining beacon of of that instruction
Yeah,
that I have
yeah,
believed in my entire life.
yeah. It's
Even though I don't go to church, it's a belief. It is a
mhm.
core belief for me.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's an acceptable thing, and
Yes.
it's a valuable thing to if we're gonna do anything at all, right? Like
Yeah.
let's do that thing. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. And I mean, I grew up in a loving home. My parents are awesome. They're amazing. Like our family growing up, full of love. Our extended family, cousins, we got together. I had an amazing childhood. I had an amazing upbringing. Not everybody's lucky like that. I'm
Right.
silver spoon here,
Hmm.
and but yet, but yet, there's still a way to like even through hurt, even through grief, even through pain, even through betrayal, and that's what I felt because the person that was the one that hurt our family, that was an abuser in our family, that abused our family, was my guy. He was my worker, and like talk about I did a Whitney interview, and like I talked about the deepest betrayal I've ever felt in my life,
Yeah.
and I can't, you can't, I don't know how to deal with that. Like I still don't. I'm still processing it.
Yeah.
But but what I felt here's the thing. So Monday I met with the pastor from the church I've been going to mostly, And we went to lunch, and he just wanted to hear my story. So we went through it, and of course, lots of stops and starts, because trying to explain some of this stuff gets pretty interesting. But the overriding thing that I got from that was this man was there for me, to listen, to talk, to be there. He stopped me 3/4 of the way through our conversation. It's like, hang on, what can I do to help you? What can I do? Like, it's a place of service. I don't know. It was overwhelming love, and I left, and I sat in my car, and I cried a couple tears, because I'm like, here's a false preacher, right? That I again, I mean, I know this was supposed to be about tradition, but there's so many things to unpack that, it's the love portion is way more important than anything else, in my opinion.
But I think the lack of love is tradition in the church.
Yeah,
I think there's a line there of thou shalt not that is so clear that we just accept the fact that we are unworthy, unlovable, like that's what so many of us are trying to recover from, is to wake up and realize we are worthy and we are loved, and Jesus died for, like, I could go on and on and on, but it's like, that's the pain. Yeah. And to then find people in the world that are that way, and that, like, because we were so traditionally taught no outside contact.
And really not to show emotion.
Right. Yes. Keep those feelings in a bottle. Yep.
So the emotion side of it is something that was kind of like, my family is going to make fun of me for this, because my dad used to say, is he ever going to stop crying? I was the emotional kid. Dad would look at me and I'd bawl, whatever the reasoning. He was not a bad dad. Like, just to clear that up. Yeah. I just was emotional. So, like, showing that was really not that celebrated.
No, not at all. On that note, that's another thing that I want. You and I had this conversation when we talked about, my experience in the last 2 years has specifically been around Worthy, and 900 women now in that group, and they're all ex 2x2s for the most part, mostly women. We have a few guys, token guys we call them, but the men, like, it's not that you guys don't have emotion. I think especially in this particular situation in the 2x2 church, you were so trained not to. And so it's very difficult to then, like, that's why I love talking to you and Steve. And I had a great conversation today. I'm not going to name names yet because I haven't gotten permission from him. But the male perspective on so many things, but specifically around seeing you show your emotion, and be and feel connected to it, is just, that is another example that you're living in being a whole person.
Well, I'm trying. It's and I think the only way we have a chance to do that is by doing. And this is where the doing comes in. This is where the works come in, because this is a thing. Sorry, I got to go here, because the whole issue with being saved by grace, Jesus died to cleanse sin from all, and then we're expected to do works to earn our way in. And that's a tradition belief that was straight from William Irvine.
Yeah.
We earn this. We earn our salvation, and the works come from our heart. That comes from after we've come to this point.
Right.
And people that don't believe in God can do good works too.
Yeah.
They can love people too, and
Absolutely.
they need love too. Like,
yes.
This is, and anyway, this could take a lot of forks in the road. But there are so
You're
many.
You're going to have to come back on, Mike. You're going to have to come back on. Just going to say it out there right now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, but I think it all revolves around love. Like,
it does.
If we can figure out how to do that, like that's that's the base. That's the foundation of
Right.
what we're called for.
Totally, totally agree. Lots you I'm sure you can see all the comments too, but yeah, I
I'm
love.
yeah.
Thank you guys for all.
Yeah. 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 Well, so a life okay. Truth is one of those words that are really difficult for me still. I'm still working through that. But I'm going to look at it in honesty. And so to be honest, we have to be open, we have to be available, we have to be aware of ourselves and of what's going on around us. So truth yeah. I guess for me, my life mentality is I desire to be consistently and always honest. I fail. Like I'm just gonna tell you, yeah, like we do, and and when I do, I'm like, oh, why did I do that? That didn't make any sense. So, but truth, as far as I mean, that's the word of God is the truth is truth, but I as far as a how do I act today and how do I treat? I'm in sales. That's kind of my one of my hats that I wear, and like I want my customers and my contacts and my vendors and the people that I deal with to be like, oh, that Mike, he's honest. I can trust what he says, and that's I guess kind of the translation to that is, I know I can trust what God says. I know I can trust the Word of God and what Jesus says. So that's kind of how I'm viewing it, and just being being open to hearing those words. Mm. Uh, my 11-year-old doesn't understand that either. Was that too on the nose? No, I like no. I, yeah, yeah, right, right. And it works for a while, and on certain people, exactly. And in the scheme of things, that's just a little while, really. You know, and there have been people like yourself that have seen it years ago, and there's been other people like me that didn't. And so it works over time, and it generally things work out. In the things come to light. Some people are more notice. There's a sorry, off another tangent here, but there's a there's a video, and I can't think of the guy's name. He's a like an illusionist from Britain, from England, that He does. It's called Lucky Dog, I think. It's a video we watched in sales training, and he found people. He went to this small town, made this I don't know. I don't know. I can't. I wasn't ready to talk about that one. But anyway, he made this. He made this story up about this dog in the park is Lucky, and all the people were over there, almost all the people, but there's one man that like was oblivious to everything. Never, they dropped money on the sidewalk in front of him. He was unlucky. So he didn't pay attention to this dog. And they made this whole folklore around it. And he bypassed. They had billboards going by. Hey, Mark, call this number. You'll get money. And he never saw it because he wasn't looking. And so for years, my whole life, and for a lot of people, their whole life, they're not looking. Like they're comfortable where they're at. But see, I think some of that's comfort and fear. Like it's they're intermingled, right? So yeah, yeah, we'll do it again. Yeah, 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 sure. Well, I'm just going to go back to traditions again, and how meaningful they can be, and they can carry history and intention. They can carry weight. They can carry importance, but they're never meant to carry the weight of salvation. That so any belonging, none of that stuff is tradition. That is man-made weights and measures, right? So anyway, so I, everybody deserves everybody deserves love and care. Let's do that. Thank, thank you, thank you very much. All right, you too. Bye bye.